Whew. Russian Federation fragmenting video in the changeover series. So let's see how this goes. What if tomorrow morning the Russian Federation didn't exist? Not reform, not regime change, but gone. And instead, 5 independent countries standing where Russia once used to be. What would they be? Who would control the oil? And would the world be safer or more dangerous? Let's break it down. The 5 hypothetical states. First is Eastern Russia. The state would include Moscow, St. Petersburg, and most of the population west of the Urals. Nearly 75% of Russia's people live here. It holds political, institutional, and financial centers, and the majority of industrial output. GDP-wise, this region would remain a major European economy, comparable to mid-tier EU powers. Second, Ural Republic. Centered around the Ural Mountains, historically industrial, rich in minerals, defenses, manufacturing, and heavy industry. Smaller populations, but higher strategic manufacturing value. Third, the Western Siberian Federation. This is the energy titan. Oil, gas fields, concentrated in titanium, and the Chernobyl-Minsk regions. Oh my God, I am so sorry for those mispronunciations. The majority of Russia's export revenue comes from here. Remove this region and the old federation loses its fiscal backbone. Fourth, the Siberian Republic. Vast territory, timber, mineral, rare earth metals, sparse population, massive landmass. Think resource frontier nation with Asian-facing trade potential. Fifth, the Far Eastern Republic, bordering China and the Pacific. Ports like the Vladivostok fisheries, that large national liquid natural gas terminals, access to Asian markets. Geopolitically, this region becomes the most contested. Now here's where things get serious. Today's Russia ranks among the top global and gas exporters. If it fractures, energy contracts become uncertain overnight. Western Siberia controls the pipelines. Eastern Russia controls the banks. The Far East controls Pacific access. Investors would panic. Energy prices spike globally. Europe scrambles. Asia renegotiates. China moves quickly to secure infrastructure and influence in the East. But here's the twist. Individually, none of the five states would rank as a superpower. Together, yes. Separate, not even close. The largest European, Russia, might resemble a large European economy. Western Siberia would be wealthy, but highly dependent on commodity exports. The others would face infrastructure challenges and capital shortages. Short-term global volatility, not massively. Short-term possible stabilization, but with new alliances. Nuclear weapons, yes. Now the most dangerous variable. Russia holds the largest number nuclear arsenal in the world. If the Federation dissolves, who controls them? All the warheads remain under European Russia's authority. Global structure shifts, but doesn't collapse. If weapons fragment across new states, that becomes the single greatest security crisis of the 21st century. The precedent is the collapse of the Soviet Union, when weapons were consolidated under Moscow's control, but that required coordination. Would five new governments cooperate? That's the gamble. Europe could benefit long-term from a weaker Eastern Bloc. China could expand influence over the Far East and Siberia. The United States might see reduced military tension or increased instability depending on nuclear control. Energy exporters like Saudi Arabia gain leverage in the short term. Global markets hate uncertainty, and this scenario would redefine uncertainty. So would the world be safer? Or would we trade one centralized rival for five unstable ones? Who's saying the current one is all that stable? History shows that fragmentation can either reduce imperial reach or multiply regional conflict. The breakup of a nuclear superpower wouldn't just redraw borders, it would redraw global power. And the question isn't just whether it could happen, it's whether the world is prepared if it did. Five flags, five countries, one massive geopolitical shockwave. What do you think changes most? And with that scary note, let's go ahead and end this with Scott for 2028.